Hello, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible, but there are only 5 participants, sir. So give some more time.
Sir, actually, other people are watching in YouTube, sir, live stream.
Correct. Good. You have said it good. Okay, fine. So fine. So I am there. Done. So let us go ahead.
Okay,
And
sir.
how many participants are there out of just curiosity? YouTube, you cannot know, no?
Sir, around 300 to 350 participants will watching the YouTube live, sir. As of now, around 80 is there, sir.
Okay. And Shankarji, 1 hour of talk is enough, or how do you go? Generally, others, how much time they give?
Sir, normally 1 hour is the section, another 10-15 minutes question and answers will be there, sir.
That is okay. And
Yes,
the announcer, whoever it is, the friend of mine, so you please tell them that let them put all the questions in the chat box, and
Yes,
after
sir.
the
Yes.
presentation is over, I will
Yes,
take
sir.
all the questions.
Yes, sir. After end of the section only, question and answers will be, sir. Rishi will anchor. He will raise the question, sir. Afterwards, we can explain the answer, sir.
And you see, right after 55 minutes, you will tell me, sir,
Yes, sir.
5 more minutes left. You don't bother. You just interrupt me and tell. Then
Yes,
from
sir.
there, I will start going towards conclusion, because this talk is, you can keep talking for long hours. Okay.
Sir, sir, no, there is no, you should finish it up by short 6 o'clock also. After 10-15 minutes, it more time also, it will take more time also. No problem, sir.
No. Okay. So I am sitting on it. So you can start now. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir, and good evening to everyone. I am Rishi, and I am the presenter of today's event. Today, we are conducting the 6th day of our online internship program, which consists of 14 days. The topic for today's session is Design Thinking Internship, and the speaker is Professor J. Ramkumar, Professor at Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur. If you got any questions, kindly post it in the comment section of our YouTube channel, and we will address them. Before starting the session, I would like to give a short introduction about the speaker. Professor Dr. Janakarajan Ramkumar is currently Professor, Mechanical Engineering Department, Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, India. Professor J. Ramkumar is closely associated with the programs of NDRF. The present internship is being organized by NDRF in association with Kanpur Local Center, Institute of Engineers, India. An interesting information is that Professor Ramkumar is the chairman of Kanpur Local Center of the Institute of Engineers, India. Dr. J. Ramkumar earned his doctorate in mechanical engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, Chennai, and has completed his MTech from IIT Madras in mechanical engineering. He has completed his BTech from National Institute of Technology, Trichy, in production engineering. He pursued his postdoctoral doctorate research in the area of intermetallic composites machining and fabrication at Osaka University, Japan. Dr. J. Ramkumar has specialized in the area of micro-nano manufacturing, novel product process development. Dr. J. Ramkumar has received many professional awards, recognition, fellowship. For example, Swarna Jayanti, Bhatnagar Prize, Fellow of INAE, INSA, etc. Outstanding scientist for the contribution and achievement in the field of mechanical engineering by International Foundation, India, in the year 2017. Young Scientist Award by Department of Atomic Energy, India, in the year 2007. Dr. J. Ramkumar has carried out sponsored projects worth 5 crores. Dr. Ramkumar has published over 2,000 articles in the peer-reviewed international journals and has received over 80 lectures in the international conferences. He has 69 patents in his name. Now, sir, I request you to take on this session. Sir,
take on this session. Yeah. So thank you very much, Rishi, for giving a wonderful intro. So good evening to you all. I hope till now things were fine. I think today is the 6th day. So it is a lot of initiative taken by them. So let us appreciate the organizers and NDRF for taking so much of initiative in bridging the future generation. The future generation, you are the people. So you are the people who are going to change the world change our country and take our country's flag to the next level. So in this note, let me get into the topic for discussion today. I am going to discuss a topic which is called as design thinking. Design thinking is a tool which can be used to solve problems, both technical and social problems, and coming out with solutions. Today, we all do internship. We all do certain BTech projects. But finally, you should ask a question, for whom? For whom are you doing it? There has to be a customer. And if there is no customer, then it becomes your baby. You have to push it into the market such that everybody accepts. You have to go stand in front of the committee and tell them, this is what is the product can do. This I can do. This I can do. This product will do that. That product will do that. But if there is a need which comes from the customer and you start developing a product, you will see your BTech project, your internship will be very well appreciated. So what I'm trying to say is we have to first understand who is our customers, then develop technical solutions and improvise the technical solutions such that it reaches to the market. Internship, a research paper, a project report, what you write. If there is nobody to look into it, then why do you waste your time in generating it? So now, what I'm trying to tell you is, how do you utilize the time which is given to you in a better fashion such that the solution, whatever you propose, can be of use to somebody. For doing it, we need to have an innovative thinking. There is a big difference between invention and innovation. Invention means something new and you don't have to worry about the customers. Innovation means it is cut and paste technology across several streams. You develop a solution and there is a customer for that solution, then that's an innovative solution. So what I'm trying to seed you in this lecture for the next 1 hour is, how do you become an innovator? And when you extrapolate, interpolate all these things, this you can try to take it to your internship also. Let us understand this graph or this slide. This slide is called as business canvas. This is generally used by entrepreneurs, but I would insist that even a research scholar can use it. You have to change the words, but a research scholar can use it. An entrepreneur can use it. An internship student can use it. Anybody can use it. You have to tweak it, customize it to your requirements. Let us start with this extreme corner, extreme right corner, and then start our discussion. First is customer segment. Who need your solution? That you should know. You are doing a summer internship. You are trying to produce something. Who is your customer? Who is going to accept it? If you say that, okay, my mentor will accept it, fine. The mentor is going to work for somebody else. In the sense, if you say that I'm going to work with some ex-mentor at ISRO for developing this something. So that mentor will be working for a larger picture, which is for his project director. The project director will work for his mission director. So now you see there is a clear laid solution. So you have to understand who needs that solution. First, you should ask that question. Then, how many people need your solution right now? How many people will eventually need your solution over a period of time? I tried to develop a solution to a problem. For example, COVID. COVID is a pandemic which everybody is affected. So you have come up with a solution. For example, a chewing gum. A chewing gum which you put it in your mouth, because COVID, they say it always it is spread in your mouth, it's spread in your nose and here and there. So now whatever is spread in your mouth, because when you sneeze it gets spread. If I can take if I can retain all the virus in my mouth, and then collect it all together in a chewing gum, and then I chew the chewing gum for some time, and then I throw it out. When you throw it out, it will have, but if we could disperse it properly, then a chewing gum can be a solution to the pandemic situation. And in the chewing gum, you can add all sorts of medication such that when you start chewing it, it also gets into your saliva and gives you a better cure. Okay, so it gives you a better cure. So this is what is your solution. So who needs the solution? If I've sold this during pandemic, everybody in this country needs that solution. Okay, so that is one. And the next thing is, how many people need your solution right now? So maybe people who are all suffering from this COVID will need your solution. And they will try to use it. How many people in future eventually will need? Maybe 50% of the existing crowd might need. So now what I've done, I have done a clear understanding the customer segment. Next, I would like to know through value proportion. What problem is the solution it is all about? What problem do you solve and how do you solve it? So that is the next important thing. So what problem did I solve? I tried to solve COVID getting spread to others by controlling and containing all the COVID virus in my mouth, whatever was there, into a chewing gum. And I am trying to recover all the things and give also medication to me such that I can try to solve this problem. See, and this solution is a fictitious solution. Don't try to think that there is a chewing gum and all. I'm just giving you an example. So that is what problem do you solve and how do you solve it? So what problem do you solve? I try to solve the problem of COVID getting spread to others. How do I solve it? I try to find out a bubble gum in that chewing gum. I try to add all the ingredients, and this chewing gum should secrete the medication, and it should have a longevity for half an hour such that I spread it all through the mouth, collect all the virus, and then I try to acquire it and then throw it. So this is how is the solution to the problem. Okay. The next thing comes is the channel. How do you deliver the solution to the customers? Where can customers find your solution? This is the next thing. So you have developed a solution. You have developed a solution. Now, how do you try to distribute that solution? So that is the channel through which it goes. Okay. So how do you deliver your solution to the customer? Where can a customer find your solution? So these two things are very interesting. Say, for example, in your internship, you are supposed to say that, okay, where do you find the solution? So you have done you have developed a protocol, or you have developed a library function for a simulator. So now, where will I find it? Are you going to put in public domain, or is it going to be in the IP rights? And suppose if your faculty is there, will you go deliver it to the faculty member, the mentor, online or offline? So that is what is a channel through which you go. And the customer relationship, this is more focused towards your product. So let me quickly go through it. How can you talk to your market about your solution? How can you acquire customers? So these two are also very, very important. See, if you don't keep telling about the solution, whatever you have developed, people will not know it. So this, I would like to only emphasize on this vertical value proportion and customer segment. Rest all is more focused towards customers, which is innovation oriented. So now let us understand who the customers are. You should understand. Your customers are of 6 categories. 6 categories, the customers. See, if you say your mentor is a customer, no. I will tell you an interesting thing. Let us assume that you are a owner of a company which makes ice creams. You are a owner of a company which the company makes ice creams. Now, the first question which comes to you is, who are your users? So you might say, okay, generally ice creams are taken, majority of the ice creams are taken by one, the school going kid, another thing, college going kid, Of course, practicing professionals. So if you are selling a company and it's something like a cuboidal bricks of ice creams, so then your customers are going to be at home. Correct? Suppose let's assume your company makes cone ice. So who are your customers? Either the college student or the college student can be one, or the school going kid can be one. So they are the users. So now if you ask them, they will say, टूटी फूटी लगा दो, ये लगा दो, वो लगा दो, आइसक्रीम में ये होना चाहिए, वो होना चाहिए, बोनविटा ऐसे है, you need to have nuts, these, that. Everything will be the user's choice. If you ask my son who is in school, he will say all sorts of requirements. You will not even find out, or he will say everything under the sky he wants. So in this ice cream. So he is the user, and you as a company, you would like to talk to him as a user. But you have noted down everything what the user talks about. But is he going to buy? No. He is not going to buy. He is only putting forth all the requirements. Who is going to buy? The buy is done by his father. Of course, you can say that, okay, if the father gives 10 rupees, so he becomes the buyer. No, in this case, let us assume that 10 rupees is given by the father. So the user does not earn money. That's what I would like to say. So the economic buyer is going to be the father. Okay, let's assume the boy goes with his father. So the father will only look into what is the price, and he is going to give the price. During this purchase, whatever it is, there is an influencer who is the mother of the family. She says that, okay, the boy is requesting for thing, and he has been a good boy. He's been behaving good. He's been studying nice. Okay, please try to fulfill his requirements. Now, the role of your mother is only an influencer. And the father, looking into the company name, he immediately will try to talk to his friends, or his wife would talk, his mother would talk to her friends and find out whether this company is good or bad. If it is 10 rupee product, they might take a risk. If it is something little expensive, immediately they call their friends and ask. Now, who are their friends? The friends are nothing but the recommenders for the product. Okay. There is a sister in the family, sister or brother, another sibling in the family, who is not interested in ice cream, but interested in something else. So now that fellow becomes a sabotager for the product. In case of government, what happens is the decision makers are the secretaries, and the economic buyers will be the finance. The decision will be made by secretary, but the finance approval will be given by the top person. So that's why I had decision maker and economic. So if you see this, your customers are classified into 6 types. There can be a user, and that fellow, he puts all sorts of use, but this has nothing to do in one shot. Okay. The another thing is influencer. I told you who the influencer are. The mother is the influencer. The mother is the influencer, and the brother, the recommender is the friends. Decision makers are the father in this family. It is father, but in some cases it can be 2 people, and sabotager. So you should understand who is your customer and what is his influence on the product. So when you talk about who needs that solution, you have to understand this. So if you understand these 2 graphs, canvas, business canvas, and who are your customers, then you can try to develop innovative products. And through internship, through BTech project, through your research publication, what we are trying to look forward is new knowledge. New knowledge is nothing but innovation or invention. So let us look at some of the innovative products which you feel, oh, I would have done it. It is very easy. So let me show some of the innovative products which are available in the market today. The first innovative product which I am showing you is just a pillow to hold the tab. See, when you're working on when you're working on tab, what happens is you will use one hand to hold the tab and another hand to to punch the word or the number, whatever it is, to the another hand or another finger. Okay, you do it. And if you keep doing it for half an hour, you get tired. So naturally, what you do is you try to keep it on your lap and then start doing it. When you keep it on your lap, what happens is the tab slips left and right because you have a free-form lap surface. So in order to arrest that and in order to free one hand, you just develop a pillow, a spacer in between these two, which can hold. This is an innovative product. This has a huge market. You go to Amazon, you can see many things. The next thing is, while you are trying to smear butter on top of a bread, you always find it difficult to smear the butter because the butter which comes from the block will always be hard. And when you try to smear it on a rough surface, you will see jumping of this butter cubes can happen. So in order to avoid it, you would like to soften the butter. So if you want to instantly soften it, you have to heat it. So here is a knife which has a heater in it, so which can be used for scooping butter and you can smear it on top of it. The next one is we buy all these kurkure, lay chips, Cheetos, all those things. And when you try to do it, we always have a difficulty. We open the pack and we eat half. Then we find, oh, it is too much or it is too less or we wanted to protect it for later. The first thing comes is, can I use a stapler to stapler it such that whenever I want, I can open it and eat? An innovative product. Have you ever thought about it? Every day in our house, what happens? The people in our family, everybody waits for the next person to open this Cheetos or biscuit or whatever it is. Moment it is open, the next thing is we all finish it because we say that once it is open and left open in air, it loses its taste. Okay, it gets soggy, it loses its taste. So here is an innovative product. Okay, next is when we try to use coffee, tea, all those things, the biggest challenge what we face is how do you stir the coffee without a spoon? See, in my own college days or when I'm doing research late night in the research days, I try to take coffee to keep me awake. So at that point of time, if I don't find a spoon, I just use my pen and then just stir it. That's how we are, right? So we get it stirred and then we do it. But if you are in a professional world, you can't do so. In a professional world, what we do is we try to be very, very elegant. So here is a mug which is developed and the mug functions like this. It has a fan at the bottom and the fan tries to get the energy through a sensor wherein which it works on difference in temperature. So coffee either can be cold or hot as compared to the room temperature. So it can try to produce a delta T and that delta T generates the voltage and that voltage can be used for driving a fan, a low power fan. And at the bottom of the thumb, you see a switch there. So the switch is switched on and then you do it. So now it is an innovative product. The next one is you can see there are only cable holding clips which are made. Cable holding clips which are made. And this is an innovative product. The next one is when you are reading thick books, thick, heavy novels, the biggest challenge is we need both the hands because one has to retain the page and the other one we will start reading it. So here is just a holder which is made. So through that holder, you can try to spread, you can place it in your thumb finger and that will try to arrest the flipping of the pages when you start reading it. So look at it, all these things are innovative products. Now, how did they find what does the customer want? For this, we are going to use this design thinking approach. Some more products. So here is a soap tablet. See, the biggest problem with soap is let it be 5 rupee soap, 15 rupee soap, 20 rupee soap, 50 rupee soap. Once you open the wrapper, the biggest challenge is how do I now close it and keep it for the next bar? So what if like a chiclet, can we convert the soap itself into a small tablet? Now that small tablet is dropped in your hand and what you do is you try to smear with little amount of water left and right like a soap paper. You can start smearing it here and there and then that gives you a lot of soap and then you start playing around it. So maybe you might use multiple soaps for doing it. The next one is whatever we use in our cars, wipers, the same way can we use it in our bathroom to wipe our mirrors? Wonderful. Why don't you keep a wiper in your mirror so which can wipe and then clean your mirror? Wonderful, right? Look at this. While cutting onions, the biggest challenge, if you are an expert, you can cut onion slices exactly in the same space. But if you are an amateur, the biggest challenge I always face is cutting onions with equi space such that it can be used for very good presentation. So here is a fixture which is developed, a series of needles, and then you just pierce it at the center of the onion and use your knife which passes in between, so you get slice done uniformly. Look at it. When you use all the wheels to cut the pizza, the biggest challenge is after cutting it, how do you remove it out and then take it? So here is a scissor and here is a pan. So you push the pan inside and simultaneously start cutting. So it is a pizza scissor which is very much used. The next one, it is a reusable candle. So the candle is kept, the rose color candle is kept on a glass, and through the bottom of the through glass also you will have internally a twine. So now as and when it melts on the top, it will try to settle down in the bottom. So now what you do is when you flip it up, you will try to see one more candle which is getting generated from the candle itself. Like this, you can reuse the candle multiple times. Okay, when you are trying to have a coffee in a sofa, the biggest challenge is the teapot will be kept a little far away, and every time you have to have a sip and then go to the teapot, place your cup, and then come back. When you start doing it, you find tired. See, I always have a habit of taking one sip and then keeping the cup back. For me to drink one cup of coffee, it takes 20 minutes to 25 minutes. So I sip once, keep it, then have a talk, then have one sip, leave it there, have talk, have one sip, have a talk. I do it in that fashion. So, but if you don't have a teapot, you have to hold it in the hand all the time. The other option is when you're sitting in a sofa, in the handrest of the sofa, I put the small wooden modular mat. So this modular mat looks like a teapot. You can drink and then keep it. Innovative solution. What did I show? I showed all innovative solutions which the products are available in the market, and they have developed these products and they have all become very good entrepreneurs. So now the question comes is, how did they get these ideas, right? So that is what is the question you will ask. So here are some more products. Even for Colgate paste, when we start squeezing it, you can start squeezing it from the top, and so that when it comes to an end, you can do it. And you see that in high-rise buildings or in flats, they keep the gamla or the flower pot. So now there is a groove which is made in the flower pot, so that it rests exactly in it, and then you start getting it. And the reader, the display tape, the reader is displayed on the top, so you don't have to peep in and measure the distance. Rather than doing it, you can start doing it in the fashion whatever it is. Okay, so now the other interesting thing is we all play games, and the biggest problem is we cannot arrest ourselves or we cannot refrain ourselves from playing games or from eating these biscuits. So here is a dabba which has a timer in it. So what will happen is exactly during that time it will open the box. You can take whatever you want, and immediately after that, once you shut it, it closes it. So it will get opened only when the timer is given one more slot later. So only during that time it is doing it. Okay. So this is what these are all innovative products which are there. And here are some of the innovative products which we developed during COVID in our lab, wherein which we got patent and some of the awards were given. So these were the our products which we did. So this was a COVID key holder. So wherein which it can be used for opening knobs, it can be used for opening bottles, it can be used for inserting a key, it can be used for grabbing papers, all sorts of things. It has a touch. So at the bottom it had a light. So everything it had. So this is one thing which we developed in our lab based upon the design thinking approach. So the other thing is we developed a product wherein which it can be used for this operation at the anus. So you see internally there will be a lot of cysts which are growing inside. So through the anus, the approach is very difficult for a scissor. You try to have it and then you try to slice it. So we came up with a device where in which it can be used, the device can be pushed inside and it can get locked in a fixed position, and then you push a scissor to understand where the cyst is, and then you can cut it. In the same way, this is a device which we developed for oral cancer. People who have oral cancer, the gums get locked. So by using the design thinking approach, we came up with some novel products. So all these novel products leads up to startup. So in India or in across the globe, 95 to 96% of the startup companies, they start very nicely. They keep rolling it for 3 years or 5 years. Afterwards, what happens is these startup companies crash. It is not only in India, it is across the globe. MIT, Stanford, everywhere the same story. Why do you crash? Why do we crash? Is because we have not spent enough time in doing this 5 elements. So first, we have not spent time in generating the idea. Then we have not spent time in generating a team. We have not spent time in generating a business model. We have not raised funds, and we have not released in that time what it was supposed to do. For example, now COVID to some extent is getting relaxed across the country. So now if somebody comes and says, I am going to work on oxygen concentrator, people will say, okay, fine. So the time has gone. So you cannot be very successful as a startup company. When I said a team, you should understand in academia, we don't teach you how to form a team, how to build a team, how do you be a team leader, how do you be a team worker. So all these things related to team, it is not taught to us. It comes by practice. And when you work on internship or when you work on project, you should understand one thing. Start learning to work in a team. Identifying team is very important. Let me give you an example. 6 of our friends join together, and then we start talking about Tamil cinema, Telugu cinema, Hindi cinema, whatever it is. So if 6 of us are there, and if all 6 of us are Hindi speaking people, and if 6 of us are all of the same age group, okay, same age group, then we will almost everybody will have liking towards one, Shah Rukh Khan, Hrithik Roshan or somebody, and we will try to have liking towards one hero, right? So now in your team, if 6 of you so happens that all of you admire only Shah Rukh Khan or Hrithik Roshan, so then you will not be able to accept or critical evaluation of your Shah Rukh Khan or Hrithik Roshan with the others. So what I'm trying to say is the team should be complementary. That means to say, if you are mechanical engineer, you should have one more fellow who is electrical engineer, one more fellow with computer science engineer, one more fellow with commerce background. So like that you should have. So what you are missing, your team members should have. Okay, so that is the team. So team is very important. Business model. See, you're trying to develop a product. What is the business model of giving it? For example, during COVID, there was a wonderful model raised, which was said that, okay, I keep 100 oxygen concentrators with me. So now all you have to do is you just have to ping me and say, okay, I need an oxygen concentrator. Immediately, my man will come to the venue wherever you are. Per hour, you have to pay 5 rupees or 10 rupees. So now this is a business model. One model is buying and keeping the oxygen concentrator. The second model is giving the oxygen concentrator on rental. So different models. So all these things are very important when we talk about a product. So there is something which is called as pleasure, and there is something called as happiness. See, what you try to do, for example, you try to solve a problem. If you are trying to solve a problem and just for pleasure, we play video games for pleasure. Okay, so all this is short-lived. It is easy and it is unhealthy. Often taking and often alone can lead to addiction, pleasure. Happiness, if you see, it comes from long life. It is long-lived. It requires efforts. Often it is giving. Often in companies, no addiction. So that is happiness. So there is a big difference between the happiness and pleasure. So when we are trying to do all these internship products and when you are projects, or when you are trying to do a BTech project, what all of us would like to do is we would like to see success. If you are a 6th standard boy, you would like to be class topper. If you are a 10th standard boy, you would look for state topper. If you're a 12th standard boy, you will look for JEE, and you would look if you're a BTech graduate, then you would look for GRE, TOEFL scores, etc., etc., etc. So all these things are the way you look at a problem and where you talk about success. So now, what are the secrets for this success? First, you have to get work. Then you have to keep working. Then the third one is don't stop working. And finally, what you see is success. Successful people are eternal optimists. They are resilient. They are open-minded. They have mega positivity. They are determinant and persistent. They are highly disciplined. They are resourceful, and they are happy. So when you look at success, so you will see half of the iceberg is immersed inside. So what you have not seen is the risk what people take: failure, criticism, sacrifice, hard work, persistent, late night, early morning. All these things are there. So when you are trying to develop a summer internship, also keep that in mind. End of the day, if you want to see success, the success does not come just like that. It has to come. You have to take some risks. You will have to start working. You will fail. When you fail, there'll be criticisms, and every criticism what you get, you have to lead to satisfaction. And as I already told you, hard work. You should always be persistent, and then you start working. So time management is very important part of any internship you do, because that clock runs for only 15 days, 1 month, 2 months, or 6 months, whatever it is. So time management is something very, very important. So so are you more productive? Have more. So when you do time management, you are more productive. You have more energy than others. You feel less stressed. You are able to do things that you wanted to do. Get more things done. Relate to more positivity. Better feel better by themselves. Okay. So from this, what I will do is I will try to show some of the products which we developed during COVID following the design thinking approach. Okay. So then you will see what is it. So in design thinking, what we developed was, the first thing is UV curing box. So this UV curing box was developed because we wanted this UV curing box during the time of first COVID. So what happened during the time of first COVID? Everybody said, you buy vegetables, you buy that, you buy this. Everywhere there is coronavirus on top of a plastic cover, on top of vegetables. So in fact, when my wife went to buy vegetables, she used to buy these vegetables, soak it inside water, which she will disperse it with turmeric powder, and then she will disperse it with salt, and then they wash it, and then she washes it once, then she rinses it, then she again washes it, and then she keeps it for drying in solar, in the sense in sun, and then finally what she got, she used to start using those vegetables for cooking. So every day this exercise of buying vegetables, buying fruits, buying this, buying bread, all these things, washing and other things took away nearly 1 to 1.5 hours, with almost close to 100 liters of water was wasted for all these activities. So I was thinking, and I used to help her because that was a time lockdown was there. So I was trying to help her every time, whatever she does. So that was a time I realized that you don't have so much of water to spend, and you want to be still sterilized, and then you want to eat a safe food from corona. So what we thought was, why don't we develop some safe device where in which it can try to sterilize it and then do it. So then what we did was we started working on it. We found out there is a UVC light. We found out there is ionization chamber. Then we found out there is ozonization. So what we did was we integrated all the three together into one device and started cleaning all the coronavirus thing on top of the surface. So and then we realized that, okay, this UVC light is very hazardous to eye. So then we were looking at how do we stop this. Then we saw a microwave at the home. So then we decided that microwave is something which has a closure, and it has a timer lock in it, and the intensity can be varied. We looked into it, and then we took the concept from there, integrated, took the concept of timer, everything, and then we developed this device. This device was developed and it got sold in Amazon, and we also this got referred in Man Ki Baat of Prime Minister's talk, and we had a huge hit. This product was developed out of design thinking approach. So now let us get into what is design thinking. These are some of the products which we developed during COVID. We developed the PPE kits, all these things. And this was a product which we developed, which is called as Mobile Master G. And this was referred by Prime Minister in one of his Man Ki Baat, and we got a very good name. So here also we followed design thinking approach. Now let us see what is design thinking approach. Design thinking approach is the iterative design process helps the designer to involve clients and customers in developing, in doing something meaningful. Design thinking is a blend of logic, powerful imagination, systematic reasoning, and intuition to bring to the table the idea that promise to solve the problems of the clients with desired outcomes. So this is very important. Design thinking is a blend of logic. It is not an illogical method. It is not like something artisan doing it. It is a powerful, it helps you to have a powerful imagination. It has a systematic reasoning is done. It is done with intuition, and you start doing it. So what are the 5 steps of design thinking? If you understand the 5 steps, you are the master, and this is what is the entire presentation all about. So you have to do this design thinking. The first thing is you have to do an empathy study. Empathy study means you become the customer and you undergo the plight, whatever the customer undergoes. For example, I used to sit down and wash the vegetables along with my wife and spend 100 liters and spend 2 hours of washing before started cooking. So I used to look into that, and then I used to start understanding the problem, understanding the difficulty. And I come from Chennai, where we always have a problem of this water scarcity. So there, I don't have a freedom of doing all these things. So in that case, what I do is I try to look forward to better solutions. So that is where the UV came into existence. First, to have a deeper understanding, you do an empathy study. So that this is very clear. Design thinking approach works on user-centric problems only. You cannot work on problems where where the problem does not exist. So design thinking tries to have a customer, and it goes around the user. Okay. So empathy study is I undergo the plight, and then I understand whatever it is, and then I start developing possible things. After I do an empathy study, what do I do is I do definition of the problem. What is definition of the problem? From the empathy study, whatever I did, say for example, I wanted to develop an ice cream. So I went to different schools, I saw different ice creams, I saw what was the major liking of all the kids. And then I also found out what are all the difficulties the kids undergo while they eat the ice cream. So I noted down all those points, and I noted down what is the maximum price they can afford. And then I also saw how much time is the ice. If you try to have a deep freezer, how long will it retain the taste, all those things. So that is all I understood in the empathy study. So now after that, I try to define the problem. The definition of the problem goes like this: like, I would like to develop an ice cream which attracts school-going customer. The cost may not exceed 20 rupees. Uh, while eating the ice cream, not much of damage is done to the customer in terms of flowing or dirtying or soiling the shirt, okay, and spreading around the mouth. So if now what I have done a clear definition of the problem. In this clear definition of the problem, I have specified I specified many things. Like the first thing is I have said ice cream. I said it has to be, it is common for all school going kids. Okay. So then all the school going kids, then I said it should not exceed 20 rupees. So it can be 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 3 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 rupee, 15 or 20. But it should not exceed 20, I've said. Then I also said that it should not flow easily. It should not smear around the mouth easily. So now I have clearly defined the problem. Now what do I do in the third step is I do lot of brainstorming sessions with the customers and try to develop a product. When I try to do a lot of brainstorming sessions with the customer, I make sure that none of the solutions are first evaluated. None of the solutions are first evaluated and evaluated. All solutions are my good solutions. I note down all the solutions. At the first round, I don't evaluate any solution. I try to generate as many ideas as possible. Then I note down all the ideas and start writing for every idea, positive and negative. And then what do I do is from the ideation, whatever I have developed. So I try to do expansion from the idea or curtailing of unnecessary ideas. And then what do I do is I start cut down all the unnecessary things. And then what do I do is I start developing some useful ideas. So now ideation we used to develop. For example, in my class, when I teach the course on design thinking, I ask my students to draw 50 different cups, tea saucer cups, wherein which the cross section of the top and the bottom should not be circular. Should not be circular. So they used to draw 50 different types of cups. Then I will try to introduce the concept of saying that you choose 10 cups and try to apply the concept of manufacturing on it. So now if you have a hexagon cup, square cup, all those things get defeated because you can't make those cups very nicely because the stress concentration will be there and the cracks can grow very fast. So generally these types of cups are avoided. Okay. So now what I did, I start getting them ideas, and after I get those ideas, then what do? I start developing prototypes. I start developing prototypes. When I start developing these prototypes, I start developing these prototypes. I try to get more and more and more ideas. So I ideate, then I do prototype, and moment I do prototype, then I test my prototypes with a real-time solution. If I get some good feedback, I try to go. But if I don't get any feedback, good feedback, I reiterate my solution. So if you undergo the full cycle of design thinking, what is next? What is next is you realize that you are nowhere closer to the solution. You will start working the next cycle and then go closer to the solution. So that is called the iterative approach. So this is what I said. Design is an iterative approach. Okay. So the design thinking finds simplest and beautiful quality of experience, innovative, feasible, viable solutions addressing the actual requirements. So design thinking tries to give you a optimized developing, filtering, converting, connecting, and using solutions which are very, very common. Okay. So there are different types of innovation. So there can be incremental innovation, there can be product innovation, there can be process innovation, service innovation, business innovation, disruptive innovation, breakthrough innovation, organizational innovation, outcome driven innovation. There are different types of innovation. So in the sense, when you are trying to come up with some solutions to the problem, you have to be more specific. You have to be more specific when you try to do it. So your solution should be well led and you should try to develop it. So even in an internship project, even in your BTech project, you should try to have this idea of innovation. These are some more innovations. So I don't know how many of you had heard that fever, you will also have a cold fever. This part of the country in the north, during December and January, we lose a lot of kids because of cold fever. The temperature falls down below 98.4. The toughest problem is we don't have a device today to measure a temperature less than 98.4. All your thermometers measure 98.4 normal and above. Okay. So until and unless you look into the problem, you will not be able to understand. So here is a solution. So here are some of the solutions, social innovations which have been done by people. So these are the ladies who carry they have a lot of difficulty in carrying heavy loads. So now can we transfer the load on from the head to the shoulders? Yes, you can. So you have already used the concept of shoulder bag in your school days. So here is a girl from IDC. She has developed a solution wherein which the load from the head is transferred directly to the shoulder and it is not loaded. So there is a spacer which tries to hold it and we start using it. So this complete solution can be used for carrying gunny, cement, so the mortar and also bricks to the solution. So
sir,
here is
it's 5:50 and we have 10 minutes left, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, so here is a solution which is taken from this is the lady who has developed a solution for taking water across desert regions. Of course, you can't walk through a muddy region, but this lady, what she did, rather than taking in pot, she just saw the concept of rollers which are used in cricket matches to clean the pavilion or to level the pavilion. She took the concept and put a container there wherein which she filled it with water and she could go for the solution. So this is again a social innovation. Okay, so these are some more social innovations. Have you ever thought of a Rubik's cube for a blind person? So for a normal person, you have eyes, so you can see the color and you can solve the Rubik's cube. But for a blind man, if he wants to solve the Rubik's cube and then tries to keep him busy, so here is a braille-based Rubik's cube, which can be used for inclusive society people. So you can see Alexa is a design innovation today. You see virtual reality is an innovation today. You see printers like this. You can see that a lady sleeping at in the this thing. So the biggest problem is when you are sleeping in the bed watching a movie or reading a book. So reading a book, what now we have done is that you keep the book in your hand, but you can lie flat and read the projection of the book on the top and you can start reading it. So these are some of the innovations which are happening today. You have water balls which are used. So like seed balls, you have water balls. So you don't have to take water, this Aquafina bottle. So you take these balls which are there available in the market. As and when you get thirsty, you start eating it. So these are some of the innovations which have happened. And India is very famous for jugaad. You should understand. There is a big difference between jugaad and innovation. Jugaad means the consistency of the solution is not there. So you don't have the consistency in the solution, but you try to have a solution to the problem, which is not repeatable, which is not reliable, but you have a solution. But this is called as jugaad solutions. Indians are very good in jugaad. But there is a new concept called as frugal innovation. Frugal innovation means trying to come up with an innovative solution with using minimum resources, but still trying to give the same comfort to the customer from the product. So those things are called as frugal innovations. So Tata Nano was a frugal innovation. Chutti Cool was a frugal innovation. These are jugaad solutions which Indians make. A motor bike can be used for driving a pump. A plow which can be used attaching to a three-wheeler. A bike which is attached to a rickshaw. So wherein which it can start trying to take this big syntax tanks. So you can have a frugal innovation. You can have this storing of the water in the top of the umbrella and then collecting it in a bag which can be used. And then you can try to have butter sticks like your glue, like your lipsticks, glue sticks. You have butter sticks which can be used. Okay, if you see a brush, on the brush, only the bristle portion is very much useful. Rest of the portion is of no use for brushing. It is only for holding it. So after every bristle gets damaged, we throw the entire brush, which is not a good sign. So if you can only start selling the bristles, so these are some of the frugal innovative solutions. So, what is design thinking? You have an abductive reasoning, inductive logical reasoning, analytical thinking, which leads to design thinking. So there are many more things. I would like to go towards the conclusion because design thinking is a very, very powerful tool. And as intern, when we are trying to do many things, right, you should have a design thinking approach. So these are some of the empathy studies and how do you define a problem. So I have just given. So while defining a problem, you have to amplify good, eliminate bad, explore the possibilities, question the assumptions, identify the unexpected resources, create an analog, break the problem into pieces. All these things are defined problems and then move towards the solutions. These are some of the ways of ideation. So this is mind mapping, which is a tool which is used for ideation, prototype making, and finally you do the testing, and then you try to show to the customer. So additive manufacturing is also part of it. So these are some of the additive manufacturing recent things which are happening up. We talk about 4D technology in additive manufacturing. Again, the concept of 4D got developed by using the design thinking approach. So with that few examples, I would like to finish my presentation. So thank you very much for the patient hearing. And I would now be open for questions. Thank you.
Sir, that was for sure one wonderful presentation, sir. Now we shall move into the Q&A session, sir.
Yes, please.
Let me see the questions. Sir, for the first question, we got from which material the structure of bag carrying on bag? What material is used there?
Please repeat the question.
From which material the structure of bag carrying on bag, sir? You showed that example.
Bag carrying on bag? What was the question, sir? Question is not very clear.
Sir, actually, that was bag, sir. Actually, the question was meant to mean that bag carrying on bag, sir. You showed that example, no, sir.
Okay, that was the desk kit. Okay, so desk kit is ordinary bag, sir. Ordinary Rexin bag, whatever it is. And with that bag, we have attached a stool. So these tools are already available as garden chairs in the market. So we attached these two and then we developed it. So you can carry it on your back. When you sit in the floor in a school, you can start using it as a desk for your writing. So this is ordinary material, sir. Ordinary material which is used for your bag. Same material is used. There is nothing great about it.
Okay, sir. Let me see second question.
Any other question?
Yes, sir. I think the question is on the way, sir. 1 minute, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the funding opportunities for innovative ideas for students?
Sir, yesterday I was there as part of the board where DST had 60 crores to disperse. 60 crores to disperse. We have been evaluating ideas for more than 50, 60 ideas we evaluated. But finally, we could not find many ideas impressive. So funding is not the problem in this country. Ideas are the problem. So first you show me an innovative idea. Funding is never a problem in this country. We don't have, see, everybody today talks about using artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning techniques. If you want to do a successful artificial intelligence or a deep learning machine learning, you should have 50,000 data points. Where do we have so much of data points? So the idea only matters. So if you have an idea, there will be people to pump on you money. Show me an innovative idea. That's what I'm asking. And where in which I have told you there has to be customers, and there are 6 segments of the customers. You have to keep everybody in mind, come out with a wonderful product.
Hello, one more question, sir. What's the inputs for exploring design thinking?
What is the?
What is the inputs? INPETUS for exploring designing.
I just noted down. IN.
Okay. What's the inputs for exploring design thinking?
What is the influence?
Input is inputs has writing, sir. INPETUS.
INPETUS.
I
Okay.
think inputs, sir. What's the inputs for exploring design thinking?
Inputs
for exploring design thinking.
Okay. See, if the spelling is right, IMPETS, impetus means the force or the energy which is used for moving a. Okay. So, but inputs required for design thinking is only customer survey, sir. Customer survey. It is not customer survey. It's empathy study you have to do. See, even in a tea shop, you have 100 number of things. Today, let me give you an example. The milk gets spoiled. Okay, milk gets spoiled today. So, do you have a sensor to find out whether the milk is of good quality or bad? We don't have today. We have a lactometer, we have other things which can measure the fat and other things. But suppose if it is in the verge of getting spoiled, if you can warm it and convert it into a curd, you are able to retain the business. Okay, so today we don't have a sensor to measure the quality of the milk, whether it is spoiled or not. We don't have a sensor to measure whether the oil which is used for making bhaji, bonda, vada, or tikki, we don't have an instrument to measure the saturation of the oil, whatever is there, or the quality of the oil. So today, even today, you see humpty number of problem solutions are still open. Only thing is you have to sit down and think. The chairs are been there for almost 300 years. Even today, we don't have a good customized chair for individuals which are available in the market. We have a mobile phone. So I have a mobile phone which I bought from Samsung, and my wife also, I got it 1+1 is free or whatever it is, or 1+1 they gave it in a discounted price. So the biggest problem is I have a phone, my wife has a phone. Until and unless we ring the caller, we will not be able to distinguish whose phone is who. Of course, we have changed the cover, we have changed that, we have changed the ringtone. But still, if you see from far off distance, the phones, both the phones, if suppose if both the phones are battery dead, if I wanted to find out which phone is mine, which is my wife's phone, today I don't have a technology to find it out. So these are some of the challenges. And if I recently had a problem while I was traveling in train in third AC. I was sleeping in the upper berth. My mobile phone fell down, and almost all the other people who are in my coupe, they were all ladies. And my mobile phone fell down. I know very clearly around about night 1:30 it fell down. So and the next day morning 5:30 I have to get down from the train, and I am sure if I don't pick my phone before 5:30, my phone will be lost. I can't switch on the light because all the other passengers are ladies. So here is a problem where I cannot call my mobile phone. See, there are humpty number of problems like this. Humpty number of problems like this. So problems are many, solutions are very little, and who has to do it? Only you have to do it. How do you do it? Doing design thinking approach. See, today when you start peeling off carrot, as you tie yourself blind eyes, or you become blind and start peeling carrot skin, you will see how much of challenge is it. Now, then why did you do this exercise? Because tomorrow, if you want to peel the skin of carrot in an automated setup, you will understand what amount of difficulty the machine should undergo to peel the skin. How do you sort out mangoes? Today, mango in Lucknow, the mango business, it is all international. The annual turnover is more than 200 crores. So the biggest challenge what they face is how do you sort out similar mangoes together? That is a challenge. So here is a solution which is required. Like this, you have humpty number of problems. And all these things can be taken as internship problem, can be taken as startup problem, can be taken as BTP problem, BTech problem as well. Can a software individual guys can support the design and thinking? Yes. See, software also, you are trying to see, you are trying to talk about UX, user experience. So user experience, user design. So where in which this design thinking approach is very much used. Any other questions?
Yes, sir. Sir, Babu has asked if there are any PG course or post-diploma course on design thinking.
No, design thinking is a tool, sir. Design thinking is a tool. Whatever I have said, now if you read the in-depth design thinking, they will talk about how to do empathy study, how to do idea generation, how to define the problem. All these things they will talk. But superficially, the 5 steps are very important. So I don't think there are exclusive PG programs, but there are courses which are offered on design thinking. Reading and practicing are different. So if you can read, that is okay. But if you start practicing, you can see. See, today there are 4 spoons and forks attached to one entity, one instrument. Fork on the back side, spoon on the front side. Is it a very good idea? Do you think that at any given point of time you will use fork and a spoon? And if we integrate spoke and a spoon together, so if you want to eat spoon, if you use a spoon, and if you want to use the fork whenever it is required, will you tilt it and will the soiled portion be used by you? So there are products, but these products are not the solutions. So you can use this design thinking approach and try to develop. There are no PG courses full time, but there are individual courses. PG में one elective is offered on design thinking. So you can do it. But more than that, you practice it, sir. You will enjoy it.
Sir, Rohit Rishan has asked that can a software guy can support the design and thinking?
Correct. If you can develop an algorithm, artificial intelligence and other things, yes, you can do. Design thinking softwares are also available today. But the biggest problem is how do you customize that software to your requirement is a big challenge.
Yes, sir. For our last question, we got that any guidance on startup by engineering students?
Any guidance for?
Startup by engineering students.
Startup by engineering student, that's what I said, no, sir. You should have a wonderful idea. You should have your ideas like a menu card. When you go to a hotel, you see in vegetarian, you have 25 items. You in non-vegetarian, 25 items. Like that, when you start a startup, you should have at least some 5, 6 ideas or 10 ideas. Never bank on one idea, bank on multiple ideas. Today, money is not the problem. Money is not at all a problem. You can go to, if you are in Karnataka, you can go to Science and Technology of Karnataka. You can, if you have a wonderful problem, there are a lot of industries who give CSR. If you have an interesting problem, DST gives you money. Money is not at all a problem. Idea is the problem. Idea generation is the problem. Customers requirement, satisfying the customer requirement is the problem. So you please focus on those things and you will see a better light for success. So once you have 6, 7 ideas, then do a startup, then you will be very successful. Don't try to have a small idea saying that I'll run a startup, I will do a money, this thing, valuation for it, sell it at a higher price and go to the next startup. If you have that idea, it is quite risky. Apart from that, if you have a decent idea, slowly you will be able to establish your market. I have seen my own student who started with monthly income of 500 rupees. Today, during COVID, he made in the last 1 year 6 crores. Startup company started with 500 rupees a month. Slowly he built up during peak COVID. When lockdown was there, people were not allowed to move, money was a problem. He had a turnover of 6 crores. Okay. So idea is the problem. Money is not the problem in India.
Okay, sir. Now it's time to end the session. Before that, I would like to notify about the upcoming session. For tomorrow's session, that is 16 July to 2021, we got 2 sessions. One session is from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And for that, the topic is materials technology advancements and design challenges posed by emerging materials and processes. The speaker will be Dr. S. Sundararajan, former director, National Institute of Technology, Trichy. And for the session from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., we got the topic business excellence model for aerospace industry. And the speaker would be Dr. Aniyan S., General Manager, Brahmos Aerospace, Thiruvananthapuram. So I thank you once again, sir, for sharing such valuable information with us. So thank you everyone for your participation and contribution for this online program. Let's meet tomorrow.
Can we have some feedback, or is the students cannot ask questions live? Huh?
Sir, actually the questions are from students who asked live, sir.
No,
from
no,
YouTube channel comments.
Live means can I not interact with them? No, it's not possible because they are seeing through YouTube, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Actually, many of the students said thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And I don't know whether I made a dent in your life, but you think about it, just keep brooming around it, chew it, digest it. You will see design thinking will be one of the best approaches. Okay. I would request all of you to practice at least 1 or 2 simple solutions and see. Once you see success, then you will see you can develop many more things. With that, thanks to organizers, thanks to participants, thanks to Rishi, thanks to Reddy for taking up all their time and interacting with me, coordinating with me. Thank you so much, and stay safe and have a nice evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.